channeling the spell. This is going to be a Vanargand. It doesn't kill somehow, and it kills Naya to land a kill. Oh my god! Here, apparently not, because she is going for the back line. This is instant casting. Might have a chance.
What's up, everybody? My name is Kason. Welcome back to the WDL. This is Season 4, Week 7, and we are kicking things off with the Wezette League. And up to this point, the Wezette League has been incredibly interesting to watch. A lot of really awesome fights. I'm excited to get back into it, as last week we did not have any battles. I was away on vacation in Florida, enjoying some time in the sun, enjoying some time with my family. It was a very enjoyable vacation. Loved every minute of it, but I am happy to be back. Happy to be in my casting chair and ready to cast some of these battles for you guys, so it should be awesome. If you guys did miss it, I did also upload a video for Pokemon Scarlet, a draft league that I'm entering, so if you guys haven't checked that out and are looking for some sort of content from me that is not revolving War of the Visions, I do highly encourage you to check those out. I will be uploading one video per week, essentially of how my battles go in that league. And for those of you that watch it, I really do appreciate it. For those of you guys that don't want to watch that content, don't worry about it. The WDL will keep coming every single week, but I just wanted to try out something a little different as well. And for those of you that watch, I hope you enjoyed it. That being said, we have so many amazing fights to get into this week, and let's check out the standings before we do that. First of all, we have two teams separating themselves from the pack, with Maraxus, coach of Bento Bullies, and Isvar of Elva's Angels. These two teams are currently tied for first place, 7-1 record. Each team only dropping one single game up to this point. I will note, they have not played each other yet. I believe next week they will face off against each other. Could very well be the battle for the first seed. We'll have to see how that goes though. Hisoka, Dervis, and Nemo, coaches of Eggplant, Brigade, Section 9, and Lionsguard, all doing well for themselves as well. 5 wins, 3 losses, in a good spot to try and make that top 6 for playoffs. However, their work's cut out for them. They still do have to win to keep things going. Meefle and Greatestness currently sitting at 500, 4-4 win and loss apiece. So obviously they have a decent shot at making it as well, but they're probably going to have to win at least 2 of the next 3 battles to have a chance. Garouken and Alkor currently sitting at 3-5. It is technically possible to make the playoffs at 5-6 record, but more than likely to make it, considering how many teams are up at the top, they will probably have to win out to clinch a playoff spot. And 2 teams who absolutely have to win out to have a chance are Taiyo and Shadow 91, currently sitting at 2-6. The best they can do is win out and win some sort of tiebreaker situation or some sort of sudden death match to make it. And we'll see if any of these teams can pull off some wins over these last few weeks and try and make a run, or if these teams at the top will stay where they're at. Unfortunately for Maou and Norra's gang, they are currently sitting at a 1-7 record and eliminated from playoff contention. However, they are here to play spoiler. They are here to try and pick up a win from some of these top teams. Will they be able to do it? We'll have to find out. And before we jump into the fights, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much to all of the YouTube members. I don't say this enough. I used to put this in all my videos, and I really need to get back to it because all of these amazing people are honestly what keep me going and what keep me doing this content. This kind of stuff does take a lot of hours out of my week each week. And even though, you know, we've dropped down to a best of 1, which is much more manageable for me, and it's a lot less stressful. So my life is a lot less stressful for that. So thank you to everybody being okay with switching to best of 1. But regardless, it makes this work a lot easier to do. It's a lot easier for my wife to be okay with me doing this because I do get some sort of compensation for it with all this time that I spend on it. And these amazing people on the screen are just a huge part of that. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of these people who spend some of their money every month to try and support the content. So all 21 people on this list, thank you guys so much for that. And let's jump into the battles.
Season 4, Week 7 of the Wezette League about to kick off here, guys. Witch of the Empire versus Eggplant Brigade, starting off with a big old Wind Veritas TMR from the side of Taiyo. And it looks like Hisoka's running Vega, Yerma, and Balo. Double axe alongside with the tank. Let's see if it works out. The re-raise is online for Vega. Shield deployment by the 9S. This makes sure that the other team cannot strip any sort of protect on their side, which can be pretty useful. Other than that, doesn't give a whole lot, just a little bit of defensive spirit. Courage is online for the Terra, though, as well as the Dragon's Bloodline, the Elia Rundal TMR, nullifying some of those pesky status effects for the Eggplant Brigade. Keen Blade is going to come up. That slash attack is going to be really nice for everybody, and obviously The change in turn order is the main reason you use that, as Courage and Re-Raise are now both there for Vega. Rebellious Spirit for Yerma means she is ready to just one-shot somebody. Flower's Protection is a nice tech, I will say. Unit attack resistance can be useful against Yerma, as she does have a lot of single target attacks. 100 Edges comes in, removes the Re-Raise from Vega, does some damage to both, but one of the hits actually gets dodged by the Yerma. Interestingly enough, I wonder how dodgy this team is by Hisoka. All three of these members are on the Halloween Lucio card, which gives both agility and luck. Interestingly enough, Grudgebearer coming out and just murdering the Stern, though. There is no re-raise online for him, as an early 3v2 lead for the Eggplant Brigade. And they are looking to close this out. Soaring Axe Slash, I expect to do a ton of damage. 10,000 damage is a shitload. Terra is going to live because of that 1 HP Courage. But it looks like the limit break coming out from 9S. This should deal a good amount of damage. It drops the unit attack resistance. Just kidding. It gets dodged like Neo in the Matrix. Vega says, no thank you. I don't want what you're selling. Meltdown Plus comes out and does a decent amount of damage to the Yerma. But she is ready to go again. And she comes in with the Drain Cyclone, the AoE. She heals herself up to full. And this Eggplant Brigade is showing their stuff this week. 9S is going to try and stall out the fight just a little bit by dodging with his own reflex. Says, you got it, I got it too. But this was way too little too late. Hisoka is going to end up winning this fight, it looks like, as Reaving Axe comes through. Did she just gain AP from using that ability? I swear she did. Maybe she's got AP Auto Restore and I missed it. I don't know. But Cyclonic Spear Shot coming out, dodged by the Vega again. And this is a somewhat evasive group from Hisoka. Very, very cool to see, as Vega is going to take out the 9S, and that is a very convincing win for the Eggplant Brigade. Battle number 2 of week 7 is Norra's gang versus Elda's Angels. And it looks like another Wind Veritas TMR to start the fight off, just like we saw in the first fight here. As it looks like Maou is running Howlet the Heaven's Blade alongside the Whisper and the Murmur. So the two sisters alongside Howlet versus the Lorenzo, Elda, King of the Lions, and Valade comp. We've seen this before from Isvar. It's very, very powerful. It's managed to get him this far as Keenblade comes out from the Whisper. CT up. Murmur, I imagine, probably going to go fast cast. She is starting to channel a spell, so that is going to be what it is. The Keenblade coming out from Lorenzo. We've seen this before from Isvar. It works very, very well. As the Frostweave Vivification comes down too. AP cost rate down. This is a very, very nice tech, especially considering the fact that the Wind Veritas TMR is on the other side. One thing I will say, though, unfortunately, I think that didn't even give them the 10 AP. I thought it would have given the 10 AP, but that is classified as an AP Auto Restore, apparently, even if it is a set amount. I might have missed that, though. I'm not entirely sure. Divine Shelter coming up from the Whisper. Gives her a ton of elemental debuff resistance, healing power, regen, protect shell, all that good stuff. Basically everything she could want. Aside from some of the newer tank units who basically get everything and a bag of chips. Fast cast coming out onto the Howlet, though. Double hasted up units. Now triple hasted up units on the battlefield here. As it looks like Howlet is going to go counter Poise Stance. So multiple attack resistances up. Also giving himself that counter. Elda is out of buffs, currently sitting at 81 AP. Is it going to be enough for this fight? As Quadra Break comes out, starts the thing off. 1200 damage is not a lot, but does nerf his stats quite a bit. As Valade is going to start channeling another buff. And this is all he does, is just buffs on buffs on buffs. Speaking of buff, those arms. Tell me about it. Looks like the Murmur's coming in with another fast cast. Lion's Drain hits for only 800. And Whisper might be the best answer there is to this kind of team. She can get ridiculous pierce resistance if you build for it. And it's showing right there as Lorenzo is up in the air. He says, you can't hit me, you can't touch me, I'm up here. Barrier Break Dive comes out, removes haste amongst basically everybody. Dropping the healing power as well means Auto Cure is not going to do anything. But this Whisper is still full health. Protection Break comes out for another 3,800. And Maou might have just solved this team from Isvar here. Lion's Drain coming out, dealing a good chunk to the Howlet though. I will say, Whisper doing a great job tanking, but if they can AoE this Howlet down, it's not going to matter. As the Curata comes through, Lorenzo going to be back up to full. And this is going to be a close fight. Howlet the Heaven's Blade, can he find the limit break here? Magic Reflex by the Valade. He actually goes Heavenly Diffusion. Does not eat through that HP barrier for Isvar. Isvar's Elda, excuse me. I pretty much think of them as one and the same, as Elda is his favorite unit. But man, doesn't eat through that HP barrier. The nice TMR option, though, giving a shield to everybody and a nice little heal. Lion's Drain coming through again. Dealing a little bit of damage, but 23 actions left. Both of these teams just mitigating damage extremely well. Hien still does not break through that HP barrier for Oelde. Barrier break dive coming through again. And Whisper is just shaking off this damage like crazy, but can Isvar kill everybody else in the meantime? As Howlett gets another opportunity, can he find a kill onto the backline Blade or deal a good chunk of damage to Lorenzo? Magic Reflex again. You've got to be kidding me. Maou has just got to be furious at this moment, as this is 2 attacks that the Blade has dodged from the Howlett. Limit Break comes out. Good chunk of damage onto the Lorenzo, finally getting through that HP barrier of the Oelde. Cleansing Spear will remove all AP that he had, though. He is now down to 0. If they can start chaining up, could be big. Defense Destroyer removes the re-raise. A nice tech here from the Murmur. The Red Mage Pierce attack. How can Howlett follow up? Heavenly Diffusion will take out the Lorenzo. This is a 3v2 advantage for Maou here. Blade is going to look to try and heal up very soon, as he does catch the CT up, I assume, from the Wizard Staff. The standard attack coming up from Whisper, but it gets healed all the way back up from the counter Maw. 16 actions left. Blade is going to start channeling what I think is a heal. It is a Cura. So this Oelde, he is pesky. He is still almost up to full HP. He gained some AP back. He's back up to 19. Howlett the Heaven's Blade going with the Tranquil Rendering, just barely not enough to take out the Blade. And he is still standing tall, but the Defense Destroyer is enough to take him out. And now this is a 3v1 advantage for Maou. Maou coming into the fight with only 1 win, Isvar with only 1 loss. Maou might be able to pull off the upset of the season here, as Counter Maw comes in, deals good damage, and heals him back up, as he is finally able to deal damage to this Whisper. Lion's Rain comes through. Murmur is standing tall, though, and Oelde is out of AP. Unless he can claim a double kill very soon, this fight should be over. Tranquil Rendering is going to heal the Howlett back up a little bit. Whisper with 13 AP has enough to go for a Hien, 2,500 damage. And what can Murmur go for? She might just go for a heal. They are all very low. No, she is, it looks like, heals turned off aside from the TMR. Goes for the Lunatic Voice Siren Esper summon. Not something you'd see very often. But very, very cool here. I'm not sure if Siren might have water attack resistance on it. I know it's got a ton of slash resistance. But there is the map effect. And unless, as far as Oelde can do something right now, which he doesn't have the AP for, this fight is going to be over, whether it's on turns or not. 2 actions left. Howlett, can you get rid of this guy? Tranquil Rendering another 3,500 damage. It's going to go to turns here, and Maou and Norra's gang are victorious in the upset over Elde's Angels. What a fight, and a huge congratulations to Maou. Next up, we've got 2 very strong players going at it. We've got Maraxus of Bento Box Bullies versus Dervis of Section 9. The Haste TMR being utilized immediately on the Raphael, and on the side of Dervis, he is rocking Starlight Elena, the Sylvie, and the Lisette. We've seen this team multiple times coming out from Dervis. And he says, nice Haste TMR, I've got one of those too, as the Bradley eye patch is used. Runic Blade online for the Celis, and she's rocking 14,000 HP. Velis is going to try and get everybody hasted up here. Raphael's already got hers. And now everybody on the Bento Box Bullies is nice and speedy. Lisette, though, could be a pretty decent answer into the Celis. She is weak to both lightning and strike attacks. Can she deal a good amount of damage? Banishing Barrier 7,500 HP for magic will be really nice against these Starlight Elena and Sylvie, though. Icebreaker coming out from the Velis. He said, hey, I've had enough supporting. I'm getting into this fight. I'm ready to deal some damage. Drops a big old iceberg on Lisette's head for 5k. As it looks like Starlight Elena should be able to deal good damage. I think she can probably find an AoE. There is the Limit Break. Prismatic Punishment comes through. Does Raphael dodge any of these hits? It looks like she dodged, I think, all of them. Maybe 2 of them. I'm not entirely sure. She did have the HP barrier online regardless, but Raphael's evasion is there. Magic Burst, though, does get dodged by the Sylvie. So this is a bit of an evasion war. Who is going to win out on it, though? As it looks like Sylvie is up next, and she's going to go make a wish. This is going to be a full heal onto Lisette, giving her a one hit barrier as well. 8,300 is plenty to top her up. Gives herself some AP auto restore as well. Raphael, what can she get done? She goes Heavenly Wrath, just one-shots the Starlight Elena. And oh man, Sylvie does have full life in her kit, so this fight is not over, but that is a fantastic start here for Maraxus, as the Wicked Pummel, dealing a good chunk to both of these units. Both of them are weak to strike. As it looks like Velis is going to start channeling a heal. Celis is going to try and return damage. Magic Burst coming through for 1,200, dropping the AoE resist. And Snow Healing coming through from the Velis. This is a fully healthy Bento Box Bullies team. and they are really just bullying the other side. Is Sylvie going to start channeling? This should be a full life. Can Raphael take her out? Not a chance. She's going to go for the Lisette instead. Shadowless Blade almost kills, though, and this Raphael is going crazy. Bellis is up next. What is he going to go for? It's going to be an Ice Spike. Lisette is going to fall. This full life should land onto Elena. She should be back in a moment. She is going to come back to life. It is now back to a 2v3 with the hard carry of Dervis's team still alive. An elegant spinning edge is going to get dodged. I saw the evade. Sylvie turned and faced her and said, not so fast. Starlane Elena, can she get anything done, though? With 32 actions left, it's a 2v3 advantage, but Dervis has his main 2 units. Crystal Shine Bright, dealing a good chunk, about 4,500 after the 2-hit chain. Raphael, though, with tons of AP, just goes Heavenly Wrath again and just says, hey, I thought I told you to sit down. And Starlight Elena is now laying down for permanently. I don't think there's another full life for the Sylvie. Clever Paladin Strike can't hit this Raphael, and this Raphael is just nuts. She is hard carrying. The Celis still can't hit the Sylvie, but it's not going to matter. Fellis is going to top up this Celis. Snow Healing will heal her to full. And this is a throwback to the old meta with the Velis Celis days. Velis Celis days, my goodness. Heavenly Wrath coming up for a good chunk of damage. Sylvie is just barely hanging on. And it seems like most of the units can't hit her, but Raphael can. So I don't think she is going to be able to come back. It's just the question is, did they have enough actions to get through and take her down? I take back on the accuracy. Sub-Zero comes through and deals a good chunk to the Sylvie. And Celis says, I've had it with trying to slash you. I'm just going to summon this giant water Esper for the second fight in a row. And that is a huge convincing win for Maraxus and Bento box Bullies, who officially claim the first spot in the standings as of this week. Next up, we've got Elite, coached by Greatestness, versus Bag of Cats, coached by Garouken. A couple of teams who have had both their shares of highs and lows this season. Who's going to end up taking the win here and keeping their playoff chances high? As the Obsidian Order, this is the Grifford TMR. Very nice tech here, especially considering there's both ice and wind attacks on the other side. This is a very, very smart option going up against Garouken, who has used this team before. This is the full Pierce team that Garouken has ran previously. It is the Winter Luartha, it is the McLeod, and it is the Dialdo. But Spear versus Axe, who is going to take this fight here? As it looks like Sworn 8's Pride Wind. This is the third fight that we've seen this Wind Veritas TMR come out. It is just so damn strong. Halloween Lucio going for the limit break, though. Going to give himself some haste, drop healing power, all that kind of good stuff. He's going to jump up into the sky. Big old slash, 3,000 damage. Mitigated fairly well, I would say. As he does give himself that haste, though. Grifford coming in with the dual judgment, 1900 damage, gives himself some hate too, so he is ready to tank, and also gave himself some slash piercing res. Cyrell says, I want to join the fight too, but she doesn't really get to do anything at the moment, as she's just going to walk forward. Luartha is ready to fight like a pirate. She's got her own haste ready. McLeod going to start with Binding Javelin. Healing power down, doesn't break through that 7,500 HP physical barrier though. Dialdo will ignore it, as he is a magic attacker, but Existential Deliverance, honestly a good chunk. Almost 4k damage and dropping 20 AP too is a very good start for Garouken here. But Vacuum Slash, dealing a chunk, dropping the healing power as well. And this Dialdo is trying his best to tank, but I don't know how many more hits he can take. And it looks like Winter Luartha is out of range to deal damage. She just goes for Hazard Form, and they need to deal damage very quickly as to Twisting Dissipator comes through. Dialdo is going to drop to the next hit, I think. Only 13 AP to Grifford is actually not enough AP to use an ability to kill him, which means he will survive one more hit. The Halloween Lucio will be forced to standard attack, but they need to deal a ton of damage right here to have a chance. McLeod, what do you have in store? Do you have a Barrier Break Lance in your kit? Yes, you do. 6,600 damage. That barrier is gone. Grifford is almost down, but Halloween Lucio is fully healthy. This needs to hit. Javelin Fall hits the Grifford, but it gets dodged by the Lucio. That could have done some damage here to the Lucio, but not accurate enough. Mortal Draw doing 5,800. Cyrell, can she clean it up? I assume she can. Constricting Cleave will do it. Winter Luartha, do you have the accuracy in your kit? She might be able to honestly two-shot even through that HP barrier if she's able to hit. It's just whether the accuracy is there. Battering Lance comes through, just goes for the Cyrell, though. The Halloween Lucio is still strong here. Mortal Draw for 2,700 going to heal him up. He didn't need it. He was already full health. The Cyrell with no AP is just going to standard attack. She will have another action here No, she won't. It looks like the turn order, Halloween Lucio is just going to lap. Mortal Draw comes through, and it looks like Axe is better than Spear in this fight as Elite and Greatestness pick up the win. Next up, we've got Alkor, coach of Royally Funked, versus Nemo, coach of Lionsguard. Nemo looking to try and keep pace near the top of the table. Alkor looking to keep his playoff hopes alive here, as Nemo is running Mustadio, Montleonis, and the Barts. We've seen this Mustadio put in work before. Will he be able to put in work before against this team, though? It looks like Oldoa, Winter Wrath, and Lucia. We've seen Winter Wrath pop off before. She's an amazing unit, as it looks like Lucia is going to use the Bronwell TMR. This is a fantastic option, decreasing the amount of AP and also getting haste. Did that Oldoa just not buff at all? Maybe I missed it, but I don't think she did anything. Does she have all buffs turned off? I think that's probably an accident by Alkor here, but I'm not entirely sure, as Defiant Courage is going to come off from the Bart, so he is ready for the follow-up. I may have missed it. She might have used a buff, but I didn't see one. Leg shot comes out, 830, landing the Immobilize. Honestly, the follow-up doing very, very little. We've seen from Nemo, this Bart goes absolutely crazy, but the follow-ups have not been anything crazy. And oftentimes, Nemo does not play for the follow-up Barts. He plays for a more traditional Barts. It looks like the Confusion lands from Winter Wrath onto the Mustadio, which is huge. Stone Throw Mastery, decreasing defense piercing rate, and the follow-up again, only 1700 damage. This damage being mitigated very, very well by Alkor's side. Lucia being immobilized, though, it looks like she is not in range to deal damage. Blade Blitz is going to come through. Oldoa is going to drop immediately. And this is what I have mentioned. It looks like Bart's follow-ups often get mitigated quite well from Nemo's side, but these slashing attacks, the Blade Blitz, have just been murdering people. Sharpshoot comes out and will take out Mustadio in one hit. But Winter Wrath is going to have to put in a ton of work here to have a chance. She's going to start channeling another spell here. Montleonis with plenty of AP, 45 online. Going to go for the Limit Break. I believe this is on Lucia. So even with the elemental disadvantage compared to the advantage of Winter Wrath, looks like more damage going to be on the Lucia than the Wrath. But she soaks that hit again. Honestly, this Lucia is tanking insanely well. Celestial Dyad comes through, but that Limit Break giving extra CT, it will get Reflex. Killer Drain Blade does not kill the Lucia, but Bart's, I think, is going to be able to clean her up. She does not have any sort of hate down. Blade Blitz will finally take her out. And man, oh man, I don't know what her unit attack resist was. She was soaking those follow-ups really, really well, but Blade Blitz is another entire animal. Celestial Dyad, though, doing a good chunk of damage. One more of those should take out the Barts, but he has another opportunity, and he's going to go for the Limit Break. Blades of Legend comes through. How much damage is this going to do? He summons about 12 different swords here. 2,000? Not a ton. Damage mitigated pretty well. Basically no AP on the Mont. Just enough for a jamming edge, actually, as he now runs out of AP. But is this Winter Wrath? Is she broken enough to pull off this counter, this fight? I don't think so. The casting time is not there, and it looks like an Esper is going to come out from the Barts. Not sure that enough turns had passed for this to happen, but it looks like there is, as the Odin is going to be summoned. He says, I don't need any AP to clean this up. The Esper will come through. It will cut through Wrath. And unless she has way more damage than I ever anticipated, this fight should be over. Celestial Dyad will take out the Barts, and the fight will end up quite close, as Winter Wrath does get another opportunity. But unless she has Drains in her kit, Celestial Dyad coming out again for 3,400, it's not going to be enough. Mont with the standard attack on the Odin map effect is enough to clean it up, and Nemo and Lionsguard pulls off the impressive victory over Alkor and Royally Funked. Next fight is the Lightning Warriors, coached by Meefle, versus the Vanargand, coached by Shadow91. Shadow91 looking to try and play spoiler here, as it looks like the Vacuum Veil is online for Joom, and this is a double Greatsword plus Elshra team coming out from Shadow. Concentration, Vitality here, allowed to give that agility and defense piercing. Elshra going to start channeling, and if I know Shadow, this is probably a Quicken. It could be a haste, but he often does opt for that Quicken. As the Ildira's Theorem comes through for the Ildira, getting that CT up on the team, nullifying a bunch of status effects, and the most underrated part of this is dropping the Maneater. I think that's really good at mitigating damage. As Immortal Spirit comes through for the Ravi, she's got courage, she's ready to go, and this Lightning with 11k HP I think is very heavily reincarnated. We've seen Meefle opt for this unit before, and she is a beast. As the Quicken comes through for Joom, there is the Quicken I was talking about, Wind Blessing. with the shield and the defense piercing. Ildira going to go for Frost Weave Vivification. This is the Velis TMR. Able to give AP and cost rate down. I believe Taunting Blade coming out for 3,300 damage. Again, dropping that Man-Eater. Probably not going to matter as much for the Elshra, as she is a little bit more supportive, but I've seen Shadow try to go offensive Elshra before. I would not be shocked to see this again, as it looks like she is going to do just that. She's coming in with the Meteor Plus. 2,100 damage, not a ton. Does remove the buffs, though, as Life Siphon 2 does 12,000. She says, I don't need no damn follow-up. That attack is going to do plenty just by itself, as the Dance of the Whirlwind from the Joom gives her some more tanky stats with the unit attack resistance. A level 4 Water Guard coming through for 2,400 damage is a decent amount considering it's Ildira versus a tank. Ravi's, though, what does she find? She goes for the Taunting Blade, so she's got all of the hate in the world, and Lightning is about to put the hurt in. She's got tons of AP. Life Siphon 2 comes through. 6,300 damage on the Elturel, 1,700 follow-up, 5,500 follow-up on Elturel. Good lord, this Lightning is going absolutely crazy. As the Joom is up next, she's going to go Stormwind Ren, but it is way too little too late. This Lightning is popping the hell off here and putting credence to the name Lightning Warriors, as Meefle picks up a very impressive win over Shadow 91 of the Vanargand. GG. All right, guys, 7 weeks are now finished for the Wezette League, and these are how the standings shake out. We still only have 2 teams who have clinched a playoff spot. It is still just Maraxus and Isvar. Maraxus, winning again, is alone in first place at an 8-1 record. However, he plays against Isvar next week, which means the winner will be sitting in the first seed. Note, if Maraxus wins next week, he will officially clinch the first seed because he will be 9-1. There will be no teams that could catch him in terms of record. So even with 1 battle left, he has a potential to clinch that first seed. Isvar, if he wins out though, will be the first seed. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. One thing I will say, these top 2 seeds, being in the top 2 is probably more important than just being the first overall, but every higher seed that you can get definitely is some sort of an advantage. Hisoka and Nemo, both with wins this week, currently sitting at 6-3, have not officially clinched a playoff spot, but they are sitting in very good position here, as Hisoka has the head-to-head tiebreaker over Nemo, which means he is the 3rd seed, and Nemo is 4th if it were to end now. Greatestness, coach of Elite, currently sitting at 5-4. I believe Greatestness was 1-3 at one point in this season. I remember him making a comment on one of the YouTube videos saying his chances were not good. Well, I take that back, or I would say to take that back, Greatestness, because you're doing pretty well. 5-4, currently sitting in the 5 seed with a head-to-head tiebreaker over Dervis, where Meefle and Dervis are sitting at that same record. Only 6 teams can make it, so we have 3 teams currently sitting at 5-4, so very likely our top 6 will be of these 7 teams here, but Garouken is technically not out of it. Garouken has a head-to-head tiebreaker. I don't remember, I think it's against Dervis, I want to say. I don't know, or maybe he still plays Dervis. There's one specific scenario where Garouken can make it. I believe what has to happen is that Meefle has to win out, Garouken has to win out, and Greatestness and Dervis have to lose out. I think that is like the only situation where that happens. But you're telling me there's a chance. He is not officially out of it, currently sitting at 3-6. Alkor, Taiyo, Shadow 91, and Maou unfortunately will not be participating in the playoffs for Season 4 of the Wezette League, but obviously they are going to try and play spoiler and try and win as many games as possible. As I have mentioned before, the bottom 3 teams, or rather the 10th through 12th seed of each league, are eligible to be replaced by new players. This is something that I'm implementing this season, as trying to make it so that people who are interested in joining the league have an opportunity to do so while I don't grow the league to like 60 teams and I just can't manage that many people. So yeah, there's a lot to play for over these last couple weeks. It should be really interesting to see who clinches these spots. I think by the end of next week, we will probably have a much clearer picture of who that top 6 will be. But it's anybody's guess as to who that will be. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll have multiple other videos coming out this week, and I hope you look forward to those. Until then, have a wonderful day.